All right, everybody, welcome back to another show of Total CEO. Vinnie Fisher here, the CEO of Fully Accountable. Come and check us out at fullyaccountable.com. We provide a full-service solution for small businesses. Our whole design is equipping the accounting professional to be the trusted advisor. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. I'm here. I've got a great friend of mine who's also a tribe member in our Total CEO world. He is Jens. Jens, I want to let you do a little bit of the introduction, but I really want to have some fun with you for a second about, your kind of Nordic name and who you are. But we'll get into that, Jens Johanson, about who you are and all that. But give us a quick commercial of who you are, Jens, so that we can then feed off that. People know who you are, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Vinnie, and thanks for having me on. And I'll keep on that to make fun of the Scandinavian name thing. Jens Johanson. So you all of a sudden said Johnson.
Oh, did I say Johnson? Maybe I cut up. I thought I said Johansson. My bad.
That was a piece of naming the company. So
I'm sorry, I renamed my friend. Hey, let's start
again. Johansson. Who is this? I just say it's J2. J2 Consultants, and we are building doctors. So we are architects and engineers and construction administrators.
All right. So hold on. What does that mean? Like, so you get in and you work with existing buildings mostly?
Yes, absolutely. So existing buildings that aren't working right. So we
sick buildings.
Just like a doctor, we assess, diagnose, and treat, and then make that building work right again. And
that's awesome. Really so you work with sick buildings?
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. So that's why you've had a lot of fun with people know you as the building doctor.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, cool. And so you have a staff. You got a pretty good sized staff. You're in multiple locations. How many locations do you guys have?
Yeah, we've got, let's see. We've got 3 locations. We've got 14 of us in the Seattle area, Washington. We've got 8 of us in Portland, Oregon, and we need 2 in Salt Lake City, Utah. So
you're growing in Utah?
Yes.
So for all my Mormon friends, and there's only like 2 of you, but any of my people out there listening in Utah, and you have an engineering in your architectural, right? We want you to be an architectural engineer. We don't want you to be like a mechanical or chemical engineer. But if you're an architectural engineer or you know one, and you want to be part of a killer company, and you're out there in Utah, or you want to live in one of the prettiest states in the country, Jens.
Hit me up. Yes, hit me up.
Awesome. Hey, Jens. Yeah. So our crew, it's filled with guys like you and I. We run our businesses all day long. We're owners, right? We're listening and we're spending, the 30 minutes on listening to this show or watching it live, which is what a lot of people are doing. And, one of the things that always works here is getting inside what's going on with you. So married, kids, you're in a stage of life where your kids are almost leaving your home, right? So you're
absolutely. It's a fun time. It's married 23 years. Kids are 17, 15, and 13. So we're teenaging, we're driving, we're graduating from high school, we're looking at colleges. It's a blast.
All right, so cool. I think you've heard me say this before, but I'll say it for our community. That's the ridiculously important time for a dad, right?
It is.
And so talk to me about a little bit of how you deal with the struggle of the perspective of growing J2 Consultants. By the way, real quick, before I even finish that question, if I was listening and I just wanted to look you up real quick, where would I go?
J2consultants.com.
So slow down. J2 Consultants.
Plural.
Say that again.
J2consultants.com.
All right, cool. We'll have that for everybody right here in our comments and section. You'll have the ability to. But if they went there, then they can find you pretty easily, connect with you.
Absolutely. And through, I'll throw a plug back at you. Through your tribe, we've made our ability to connect a lot easier. So
that's really cool. I'll tell you, we took something from you guys. That free service that you hooked me up to for using chat features in our software.
Chat.
Dude, that was great, man.
It's fantastic. I know. People ping on it and they go, wow, live voice or live person. This is great. So
if you're a service business, what's that service? Why don't you tell everybody what that little service you use is?
It's called mylivechat.com. It's the chat box that's over in the corner of your website. It'll pop up. You can control the timing on the pop-up, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Nobody likes pop-ups. But it's a little pop-up, comes up over in the corner, doesn't blank out the whole screen. And it's basically just hey, do you have a question about your building? And it's like, oh, wow, okay, great. Yeah, I do.
The thing I think I liked about you, the way you did it, is not only are you using a free service, good for you, but I like the fact that you have your your chief ambassador, your receptionist, your face of the company, that one of her primary functions is to man that as you would social media or email, right? So talk about that a little bit, because that's the big, to me, that's the, without doing that, I feel like you're just wasting your time putting a plug into your site. Right.
So, I mean, let me pull back just a second. You know, we've just finished our office remodel, and, you know, it dawned on me, and I've shared this back with the team. You know, you put out bids for something, flooring, tile, painting, drywall, whatever. You put out bids. I find that I'm hiring the sub that gets back to me the fastest, gets me a proposal in front of me, meets me, sees me, bam, you know, the fast. And then, you know, I'm looking at price, and I'll let one or two of these bids come in and make sure that I'm working with the right pricing option there. But then the third, fourth, fifth bidders, they didn't call me back. They haven't even sent me a proposal, or they didn't follow up, or they didn't say they were going to do. And so just the importance of, when that phone rings, have a live voice. I mean, take back to anything you do. When you're calling the dentist, they don't answer. Come on, man. So
I'll tell you, do it with excellence, right?
Yep.
And if someone you're wanting to do business with is showing indicators that they don't do their thing with excellence,
yes.
What lesson have you learned? What's the result happens with that guy or that gal?
It just winds down, or you just don't get any business from them. They move on, and then you got another vendor. You know, I'll tell you, it's like the boyfriend, girlfriend. If some guy is calling the pretty girl again and again and again and again, he's going to get a date. And if you're waiting for the pretty girl to call you, forget about it. So
wow, sounds like the advice of a dad who's got teenagers in the house. I love it.
2 teenage daughters. Yeah.
And so on the other side of that, I'm like, that boy's calling too much.
We can unplug the phone. No, I'm joking. So.
Oh, I tell you, man, we have this fun tool in our house where I can shut down their phone, only be available for texting and call. And and my kid's like, "You're ruining my life." I'm like, "I know." It's great.
I know, you're hanging out with the family and you're doing family things.
I know how crazy that we actually want to stay at our lake house and look at each other.
Yeah.
So crazy. Yeah. I know I'm a very progressive father that wants to actually call.
Send me a link to that.
It's actually really cool. It's called OurPact, OurPact. And you install a little piece on, I'll send you something, brother, but you install a little piece on their phone and you control it on yours. And there's obviously a very obvious discussion about never remove that certificate off your phone, but it's going to be hard for them to do it anyway. But then you can control it. I'll show it to you because I'm going to see you, and I'll show it to you. It's really cool. All right, back to a question I think that a lot of IC CEOs deal with as they're, we're in that phase of life where we have kids who are a little bit older, and we're also killing it. You're at, if studies are true, you're at your maximum earning potential right now. You're riding a wave could be true for you for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yes.
So when all that's happening, what do you do what's the habits you deal with in fighting perspective?
Right. And so the first thing, the first metaphor, or whatever you call it, the term balance doesn't work for me. Everybody says,
I don't believe in it. So I didn't even ask you.
And for an engineering mind, balance means 50-50. It has to be level and, all that. That doesn't work. And so I prefer the wine analogy. It's a blend. I have this much work in my life, I have this much family in my life, and I try to blend them together as much as I can. But you do have to take time. You do have to make the time to stop, to enjoy, to do these things. And it's, I don't feel like the bad dad because I can't make every single sports tournament or every single kid thing.
Love that. I
hit a few, and I try to let them know, hey, here's why it's important, why I'm not going to be there today. And you gotta take some lumps along the way, but you're making choices, and they get it. And once you explain it to them, they get it. And so I think that work-life thing, it's a work-life plan. So figure it out. Everybody's a little different. And
so your kids are a little older. So are you able to have you figured out a way to allow them to be in your work environment, earn either some revenue or look like what it's like to be in an environment around dad and work? Have you done any of that?
Yes. Yeah. So the oldest daughter has started working part-time after school, a couple hours or in between classes, things like that, doing basic office stuff around the office. And I just up front said, look, the other employees are going to be, who's the little princess of the boss? I said, you got to earn your way. You got to earn your way. Babe. You got to figure this out. And so head down, do a good job, and you will like it. And it was interesting. She came back to me and she said, Dad, I think I'm going to get a real job in addition to your job. And I said, what do you mean a real job? She goes, everybody at your office is cool. And I get along with everybody. I hear all my friends and they can't stand their coworkers. They can't stand stuff. I need to go work for somebody that's just that I don't like to get a feeling for that. And I was like, okay, you want to go do that?
Yeah, it's actually really very mature of her. Like it gives you perspective, right? Like you built the environment at your office because of your, you cut your teeth early days in someone else's engineering firm, right?
Right. And culture is extremely important, and culture changes, culture moves, but you need to find the culture that's right. And again, it's a blend. I say, one of the phrases I tell myself is, don't forget to mix the Kool-Aid. We got to drink the J2 Kool-Aid, and we got to have the Kool-Aid container around, and you got to reemphasize it the studies show every 21 days, employees forget things. And so you got to keep the message going, keep that company policy or that company attitude going, but then let the other things drive it. And right now we're in the middle of Nerf gun wars, and the guys are having a blast. And so, you never know. But
so like actually an impromptu war in the office?
Yeah. Yep.
Love it.
Guys are going out there. They're going to Craigslist and they're buying these gigantic Nerf gun things, for $10, and they're all motorized and But to a certain extent, you say, okay, that's fun. I had to calm it down the other day, but and that just 3 years ago we had mini putt golf throughout the office. 3 years before that we had other stuff, and so it's just finding what people. We run a fast-paced, intense job, and a little blow off. And so to be able to do that and have fun.
So, one of the things that I've always, we both run service companies, right? And I went out and conquered the world in the product business and the internet and just had a lot of fun. I kept getting drawn back to the service companies. And that's why we're scaling this one. I'm having a blast with it.
Right.
I was just talking to a guy this morning, and I feel like this is a perfect question for you. How do you ever deal with, or how do you deal with, like when expectations don't line up with your client, and actually, let's just say it's anywhere from getting fired to you getting removed from the project. How do you help your team deal with that?
Yeah, good question. And it doesn't happen that often, but we've experienced it before, and you just need to be honest. I heard a phrase the other day: being unclear is to be unkind. And so if you want to kind of pussyfoot around the issue or whatever, it just doesn't help anybody. Here's what happened. Here's why they got mad. Here's why we got canned. Here's the person who was involved in it. Now you go talk to that person. Say, dude, what happened? What could we have done differently? And then, you do that sit rep or that post-flight analysis and just really what happened. Now here's some levers we need to pull, some dials we need to turn. And you know what? Here's what we're learning. And the stuff we're learning today we can use tomorrow.
And I think our community needs to know this, Jens. Like you do not have a commodity capable business. This is a very specialized thing. The reason why we call you a doctor is because I don't think doctors get their licenses at the Holiday Inn over the weekend. And so you're not susceptible to commoditization as a whole, but how do you deal with some of the commoditization that exists within your business?
So as far as competitors, we've when times were tough, we were scrapping over every single job in the middle of the recession and stuff. And we stepped back from that and said, do you go to the bargain price brain surgeon? No. And so you may cut costs on some things, but you don't cut costs on good consulting advice. Now, do the proposals get smaller and get tighter and leaner? Absolutely. But it's just price yourself for what you're worth. And it's interesting, a couple of years, even last year, we went through a price increase. Not one customer objected. And it was a 20% price increase.
Wow.
And people, even the opposite. Oh, it's about time you got your rates up. And I was just like, about time. Okay, I'll take your money.
And the funny thing in my head thinks, did I leave that much money on the table for a while? Yeah. It's like,
you just don't be afraid of the price increase. And if it is, just make the adjustments. It's your business.
Well, I think the opposite is worse, right? Is living with a lower price and like running a business that actually you love doing, but you're miserable, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like without that price increase, you put yourself in a situation where you're like, everything's tight. It's running in a way that takes all the joy out of doing what you do. I mean, I love your videos. Like, hey, listen, anyone who's watching or listening, go to Jen's site and even look him up. He'll post these videos where he'll crawl in an attic or he's in these crawl spaces. I'll tell you, it's just as good or better than watching some of that stuff on television, Jens. That stuff's fun.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, good to hear. So just documenting what we do.
You should do more of that. You know why?
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you, that's the stuff. That's the stuff that's real lead gen stuff that I think people would love to watch because they don't. Let's be honest with you. Like, how many people show up at a cocktail party with Jens and is able to have an architectural design discussion?
Zero.
Okay, so like, but I could have a discussion about like how you had to crawl through layers of insulation to find something, and then it's like, holy cow, that's what you do. Like, I can't talk about corporate taxation of lawyer work. People are like,
right. Like, so there's and you hit on something. I knew I was onto something with the millennials when I call it the crawl space video. I was just like, screw it. I'm taking my camera underneath this. We're going to see spiders and all that stuff. And I sent it to my daughter, 17, and she was sitting on the couch with her boyfriend, and they were both glued. They could not take their eyes off it. And it was 5 minutes long, and I was like, wait a minute, did I just attract millennial attention span for 5 minutes? They wanted to see what was going to happen. They wanted to see, if there was a cat under there or something like that. But so that just demonstrated what I thought was an extremely just mundane thing. People like to watch.
Yeah, so I think the lesson there you shared with me has been a big deal. Like, get out what I consider a unique version of what you do in video. Let everyone else figure out some of that. You showed it to me. That's why we're having some fun with the thing. Like when we find a fiscal disaster in a company and we're just like walking everyone through it, we'll hide all the other parts, but people are like, what?
Yeah. And so in our business, it is a little different. We have to have some discreetness sometimes. And, you don't want your doctor telling everybody about, hey, here's all the diseases I cured with Vinnie. But, and we have gotten in trouble. We had a case one time where I just posted a simple Facebook Live thing, and the other side's attorney went to our website, saw this posting. There was no identification of it whatsoever, and they got mad. And they held it against our client attorney, and we were in a little bit of hot water. Nothing, but it just, you got to be conscious about today's Facebook Live world.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. You know what I say with that, because I'm the lawyer. Good for you. No,
yeah, right.
What it did is it probably did help, actually. It probably created leverage. But I think what we have to do, like a good counsel we can give everyone listening and watching, is make sure you remove identifiers. If you're going to do stuff like that, let people in, let them see the uniqueness of your business. Just make sure you protect your clients and friends. And
Yep. No, that's totally cool.
Appropriate advice. And so, hey, back to a really tough question. Like, so your wife is not your partner in the business. Forgetting what you might do corporately with your family. You're there. So 23 years, you guys have figured that out.
Yeah.
But like now you're starting to notice that you're really close to the house just being the two of you. Have you guys started talking or thinking about that at all?
Yeah, just a little bit, but like any good stay-at-home mom, she's too sad to see an empty nest. So she didn't want to talk about it. But
so little doses.
We're starting to make those plans, and I think it's just I'm excited about the next chapter in life.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was at the church preschool choir concert last night, and it was fun watching these 3-year-olds sing. And the gal next to me said, "You remember that era?" And I said, "Yeah, it was great. But this teenager series era is great too. I can hardly wait till they have kids and we're grandparents and we're jumping in the RV and visiting them." So, live life.
I live it right. And by the way, Jens, that's one of the things I like about you is you're always like, I don't know if I went through a bout of sickness and some things, and I'll talk more about it when we're together, but you had put a quote up on somebody's thing about like, how do you deal with tough stuff? And your quote, if you remember it, was, "I just know that everything's going to be okay."
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Your quote was your conclusion and premise, which is obviously what I believe too, that everything's going to be fine. So anything I'm working through now, it's already fine. So why are you giving it more value or attention or anxiety than it's actually worth? Now life's hard and I get all that, but that was extremely calming for me, bud. So
good. Awesome. Well, I think, maybe it was about your dad's passing and so faith-based piece. I know you have that. I have that. And I think a meditation piece is how people try to find that space, or you can have faith to find it. But as a CEO, man, we are we're tackled with stuff all day.
All day, right? CEO at home, CEO at work.
Things are going to work.
I mean, it's everywhere, right? So I think that's one of the things that people love to hear from us. What is like one of the habits or rituals that you find is a needle mover for you in being able to do what you do?
Right. And it's really, really simple stuff. I mean, a morning ritual is get up, water, stretching, opening my body joints up, and it's a kind of a yoga stretch thing for about 10 minutes. And then it's a little bit of reading, and I try to do it was interesting. So again, Christian, so do the Proverbs. Try this. There's 31 verses in Proverbs. There's 31 days in the month. Hey, it's pretty easy to go, hey, today is the 4th. I haven't done this for a couple of days. Proverb 4. What does that say? And so a little bit of wisdom, it gets your mind thinking about stuff. I've done it 100 times. I always pick up everything.
I love it.
Things. And so, a little bit of reading, a little bit of light breakfast, then the to-do list. What is on my calendar today? What is my 3 things I have to accomplish? And I just say 3 things. Here's the 3 things that I have to do today. And those things get done. And you can do it on your phone. You can do it on a piece of paper. These are the 3 things I got to do. Sorry, I don't have time for that. And we get peppered with emergencies all day long. And these are the 3 things I need to do. And so I think that's the morning ritual to get my day started off right. The evening ritual is just making sure you get enough sleep, going to bed. Don't stay up and watch that.
I can't tell you how long, Jen, it took me to realize that.
Yep.
Like I fought that issue. I'm like, I can do 5, I can do 6 hours. The way the Lord built me, I'm an 8-hour guy.
Yeah.
I'm an 8-hour guy. I mean, some people do it in 6, whatever. I finally have stopped kicking and screaming on that issue, and I'm just an 8-hour guy.
Yeah. So find your spot, find your sleep. It's okay to take a rest. It's okay to take a nap. I think that conflicted with my work ethic a little bit. We've hit that 2:33 p.m. slump, and it's like, dude, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go lay down on the couch in the office. I'm going to go, before I was like, oh no, I can't leave because I got to show that I'm working hard, or, can't dare close my eyes for 20 minutes in the chair. Wait a second. It's your life, your business. If that'll work for you right now, do it. And then you keep working. And so it's just those little things. Don't have the extra cup of coffee. Don't have the extra mountain monster, whatever thing it is, because that just brings you up and crashes.
All right, so I'm going to go to what I think is what requires of a CEO a lot. How do you help mentor your people to have a longer perspective in the growth of your business?
Right, sharing with them, and you go through that struggle of I don't dare train them because then they will become my competitor and leave and take all my things. And so who's the guy that said it? Well,
Henry Ford, right?
Don't dare not train them and they stick around, right?
Yeah, it's Henry Ford's classic quote. If train your people or they'll leave you, worst case, don't train your people and they'll stay.
And they stay, so that's a big deal. So train them, but then also, I've got a couple 3 number 2s. If I'm a number 1, I've got a couple 3 number 2s. And then, in our service business, billable hours is king, and we look at that type of thing, and at the end of the year or once a quarter, they're looking at it saying, hey, my hours are kind of high. Why aren't your hours kind of high? And you got to share with them. Okay, well, here's how the number 1 has to deal with this stuff. I'm dealing with the insurance companies. I'm dealing with HR issues. I'm dealing with finding new employees. I'm dealing with, putting out fires. And you need all this stuff in order for you to bill so many hours that you're billing. So be happy to trade. You want to run those things? No.
So helping them through that. So let's talk about that. Like, what do you do? Like, you just like literally tell them that, or do you let them into a little of those hard decisions?
Yep. You let them in. You talk to them. You can do it in a group. You can do it on solo. And nothing beats hey, look at the stress on my face. Look at the bags under my eyes. I am dealing with this shit, and it's not, okay, here's what we got to do. You want to help? And someone will jump in and help. So, then they'll be like, okay, that's what a number one has to do. Okay, that's cool. I'm perfectly happy being a number two. I get to go home at 5, and I don't have to work Saturday, Sunday.
I was just talking to a dear friend of mine here. He's actually one of my closest friends. And I was telling him, I was reading a study the other day that scientists have concluded that at all levels of our life, we experience the equivalent pro rata version of stress. So if you ever hear your teenager say, I'm like really stressed out about school, well, considering their wisdom level, where they are, that's probably true to them. And I think you said something that was huge. Listen, tribe, if you want the best business book on the planet, read Proverbs. Every business book is built off of it. It's called the Book of Wisdom for a reason. Yep. And I'll tell you, you know who gave me that challenge? Oh gosh, why am I? His name drawing a blank to me? Who cares? He gave me a challenge to read it. He's a famous writer. I saw him speak, and he challenged me with doing that, and I did it. I joked and said, the 31st prob is for women. I'll just drop that and only do 30-day months. But it was great, and I regularly encourage people to do that. But one of the things I think our people, why I brought that up to you, is our people lack wisdom. So they see stress at where they are. They can't relate to your stress. So one of the things we do, and I don't know what you do, but so our number 2 is Rachel. We have a couple executives around, but I let Rachel and Aaron in to some big boy tough decisions. And I got to be honest with you, I'm sitting back a little nervous. Like, are they going to handle it the way I'm going to handle it? Is this something where I've given them enough leash? But I'm letting them touch the stove a little bit so that their development of wisdom is not just watching me. Do you do any of that in your office?
Well, and every time I do, I'm pleasantly surprised. And so it's the reminder that says, look, and that's kind of my mentality. I want to surround myself with people smarter than me. And some of them are so smart that they leave. Wink, wink. Yeah, okay. But anyway, to surround yourself with really smart people, then give them the challenge. I would have handled it this way. Oh wow, look at the way they're handling.
Yeah, and they're teaching Yoda something, right? I mean, it's
pat yourself on the back and say, you trained them well. You nurtured them along. You hired them well. They are incredibly smart, and they figured this out. And
all right, tell our people again, where can they find you?
j2consultants.com.
Awesome. And Jens Johanson, you are the building doctor. You should actually dress up like that for our show next time. We should get you all dressed up like Nurse Betty or something. Your wife will love that if we do that. That'll be great. She'll be like, what the heck are you doing? All right, so cool. What's the expansion plan? Is it to get the Utah office running?
Yeah, so it's geographical. We're bricks and mortar business, and we work locally on buildings. So there's certainly a geographical piece on that, and Salt Lake City is a growing market.
What's the hardest thing you're working on right now that needs it's the biggest struggle in your business right now?
Just staying on top of the technology that makes our life easier. Staying on top of this movement of you need to be doing these videos. You need to. Following around, recording more videos, getting them on, and like anything, you can delegate some of that stuff out, but you can't delegate out my authenticity. I have my web guy that does the little posts, and I wouldn't say that, or so I'll jump on and say things, and so it's just learning, keeping abreast of that stuff.
Love it.
I'm asking my 13-year-old is helping me with Snapchat.
Oh, I love that. That's really cool. That's awesome. Jens Johanson, I am excited to have you on the show today. J2 Consultant.
Thank you.
You guys rock. If you need anybody to look at your building, if it's sick, it needs some help, it needs even just a review. One of the things we do at our company is this thing called cost segs. It's dealing with buildings, but we deal with guys like Jens and what they do. So I would say if you own a building or you're someone who does, this is the type of guy you need to be talking to. Jens, thanks for being on the show today, bud.
Hey, thanks, Vinnie. Thanks a lot.